So I wanted to do a video kind of explaining how I got the donkeys and where they came from and their whole background. So when I started looking into getting donkeys, I joined a ton of miniature donkey Facebook groups. I started doing a ton of research. I wanted to make sure that it was a good fit for us to have donkeys because they live so long. I wanted to make sure that it was the best decision for us. When I did that, I found Harmony Farms. I'll link them below. They are a farm in Bowling Green, Kentucky. They breed donkeys and Highland cows and peacocks and rabbits and pigs and all the things. They're really great. You should check them out. And so I planned a visit. At the visit, my intent was just to ask questions and learn about donkeys and make sure that I knew what I was doing before I bought a live animal and brought them home. And while I was there, she had 4 Jennies and Pretzel that she was trying to rehome. They had come from a different farm, so they weren't bred on her farm. And Pretzel was about 2 months old at the time, and I just couldn't stop thinking about him and Dolly when I got home. And that's when I put a deposit on the donkeys without talking to Nathan about it and told him he had 3 days to build a fence because they were getting delivered the next week. Anyways, we made it happen. At the time, we actually, both Jessica from Harmony Farms and I, thought that Pretzel was a girl, and I thought I was getting Dolly and a little girl baby. And then within a day of him being here, discovered that that was not the case. He was very feral and didn't let them handle him very much, so that's why it went unnoticed that it was a boy. Anyways, that's a funny story. So I had Dolly for about 5 to 6 months, and at that point it was time for Pretzel to start being weaned, and he was just driving her mad. He was being super rambunctious and playful, and we didn't have them and Eli together at the time. Dolly was really protective of Pretzel, and we didn't think that was a good idea. So I didn't have a great situation for separating them to wean them, and it just came to the point where I thought that it probably would be best for them to rehome one of them. That is when I found on one of my many Facebook pages someone that was in a very similar situation about an hour from us that had a young Jack that was driving her Jenny crazy, and I sent them a message and jokingly said hey, I have a similar situation, do you want to just trade? And ultimately that is what we did, and Dolly went to her farm to live with Diane, another Jenny that she had, and Buck came here. And Dolly's time at their farm was short-lived. That they ended up moving shortly after, and that's when they discovered that their property didn't have the best land and pastures for the donkeys, and they rehomed them. I think Katie gave a little bit about this background, but she reached back out to me to see if we wanted Dolly back, and I knew she would be in the same situation, so that's when I connected that farm with Katie, and she adopted Dolly. I will post some pictures below of the first day that I saw Pretzel and Dolly, the first day that they got delivered and were at our house, and then my first meeting with Buckwheat, and then the first time Buck got here, and him and Pretzel became instant best friends, like stepbrothers. And I know you don't want to just look at me, so here's the cute donkeys. Sorry for the long video. I just feel like there was a lot of background to that story on how I ended up with Pretzel and Buckwheat has no relation to Dolly, but I did have Dolly for about 5 or 6 months, and I love her very much, so I'm glad I get to see her often. Okay, here is Dolly and Pretzel the first day I saw them. Look how cute that little nugget is. And this is the first time they came to our house. They're just looking majestic in the field, and here is a sweet video of Pretzel just being his usual annoying self and Dolly being a good mom. I can't wait to see her be a mom again. And this is the first day that I met Buckwheat, and this is Dolly with her new friend Diane, and here's Pretzel and Buck, their first meeting, and this is them literally right seconds after they met, just immediately playing and becoming best friends. They're super bonded. I don't ever see them further than a foot or two apart. They're constantly touching. Anyways, that's the story. Have a good day.